Everyone agrees that education is hugely important. The thing is, we're not particularly sure what we want from it. The aim of education should be to prepare us for the challenges of adult life. Yet from this perspective, it's clear that schools fail all but a tiny portion of their students. Whether in highly academic private schools or in deprived government-run ones, trouble dealing with life's challenges remains very widespread indeed. Human ingenuity, energy, goodwill and talent is being lost on an industrial scale. To get more ambitious about education doesn't necessarily mean spending more money, building more schools, employing more teachers or making exams more difficult. Rather, it should mean focusing more on the real purpose of education. There are two fundamental tasks it should help us with: working and sustaining good relationships. In order to address these needs, a future national curriculum might specify that the following subjects be studied. Firstly, capitalism. A conspiracy of silence exists around the economic system we live within. We find it hard to change its bad sides or defend its strengths because we simply don't fully understand how it works. A subject like maths should be geared to teaching its number one utility for 99% of the population: dealing with money. Such classes would demystify the global economy by teaching students the importance of the means of production and how profits are made. The role of cash flow, HR, leadership, marketing and competition would also be studied. In a perfect school system, you'd also then study a really big second subject: yourself. Young students would be introduced to the idea that we humans are extremely prone to misunderstanding ourselves. They would be taken through the concepts of delusion, defensiveness, projection and denial in everyday life. Individual tutors would be on hand to help students draw personality maps with particular attention paid to their neuroses and fears. Doing this would ensure that students learn a lot about how complex they truly are and what types of people they would be best suited to hang out with. A crucial unit would be devoted to career self-knowledge. What job are you best suited to? Students would spend 3 hours a week exploring what they might do with their futures. Then one would study relationships. Being intensely aware of the social and individual cost of every unhappy relationship, an ideal education system would emphasize the acquisition of skills that help people to live better together. There would be units on kindness and forgiveness, as well as on anxiety reduction techniques. In this educational utopia, it wouldn't only be children who would go to school, but adults as well. Schooling would be for life. Education wouldn't just be taking place in classrooms. Media and the arts would be made to maximize their teaching potential and help to teach people what they actually need to learn. We're so hung up on the challenges of running a massive education system, we're failing to pinpoint the real source of its problems. These aren't primarily about money, salaries, or discipline. These are really only a consequence of a more fundamental problem. Right now, and with no one quite meaning for this to happen, we've simply got the wrong curriculum.
A man by the name of Mark Twain once said, "I never let my schooling interfere with my education." It is said that a child educated only in school is an uneducated child. What does that mean? It means that true education is not merely learned through a textbook. And the way to prove that one understands something is not merely through a test. This is the old way, the chalk and talk way, the way of memorizing facts and dates, then taking a test and then forgetting about them a week later. What good does that do? A man by the name of Howard Gardner came up with a theory of multiple intelligences. He said that there are auditory learners, kinesthetic learners, people that learn through touch, people that learn through stories. See, we all have different gifts and strengths, and to create an educational system where only one type of learning is preferred is absurd. Not only unfair, but it sacrifices the God-given abilities of students and the good of the world. The best advice I could give a student is figure out how you learn. Just because you fail a test doesn't mean you're slow. Just because you're having a hard time understanding something doesn't mean it's impossible, because there are no bad students, only inflexible teachers. Yeah, I went there. In the 3rd grade, my teacher, Mrs. Williams, wanted to hold me back. She said I was slow. And they are not gonna like me saying this, but when I was growing up, my parents thought that I had mental disabilities. No, I just wasn't understanding in the way that they were teaching. A few years ago, I graduated magna cum laude, honors with my degree in anthropology. The same man who took us to the moon, Warner von Braun, failed math class twice. See, nobody is slow. But the secret is you must figure out how you learn and learn everything you can about what you love. And I promise life will become a lot easier. Peace. What do you think the future of learning should look like?